Today I want to share with you an absolutely incredible story, one that, straight from the dense taiga of the Amur region, has led us to some real archaeological mysteries. Have you ever wondered what lies beneath the land we so often pass by? Well, recently, such discoveries were made in the Khabarovsk Territory that even the most experienced archaeologists wondered, what if we simply don't understand the secrets it holds? Let's go together and discover what happened in these places many centuries ago. In early July, something strange happened in the remote taiga. 40 kilometers from Vyazemskoye, near the Podkoronok River, a forest suddenly felled. Hectares of ancient trees, as if swept away by a giant invisible hand. Everything was uprooted and broken, as if struck by a gigantic club. Specialists from the Far Eastern Center of the Ministry of Emergency Situations concluded that a tornado had caused the event. However, such tornadoes are rare in these parts, and its strength was truly extraordinary. Scientists immediately became interested and began preparing for an expedition to determine what had happened and whether the wind had left behind anything mysterious. But researcher Mikhail Efimenko was ahead of everyone. He had just returned from the expedition and immediately went to the editorial office to report his findings. Some of these strange objects were shown to him by a local resident from the village of Sheremetyevo. He had collected them in the forest and laid them out in his garden for children to see. Until now, the village of Sheremetyevo was known to historians only thanks to its ancient rock paintings, petroglyphs, says Mikhail Efimenko. Here, on the rocks, they found images of prehistoric horses and hunting scenes. But what I saw this time stunned me. The stones seemed to be from another world, another era, an alien civilization. There are many finds, but almost no answers. To understand these artifacts, Mikhail Vasilyevich spent a whole week in the library, studying works on the cultures of ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome. He compared the hewn stones found in the taiga with examples of ancient architecture, and this turned out to be no coincidence. He is an architect by profession, with 30 years of experience. Look at these enormous ovals I found in the forest, he continues, laying out the photographs in front of him. They are as tall as a man. And what do they remind you of? Here, one can almost see a mouth, a nose, eyes, even a chin, which prevents the stone head from tipping over. But these are not human heads. The style of carving reminded Mikhail Vasilyevich of ancient Egyptian traditions. He had seen an alley with similar sculptures in the temple of Amun at Karnak. In ancient Egypt, the god Amun personified the sun and was depicted as a ram. Perhaps these stone ovals are unfinished heads of Ares, which were once intended to be part of a religious building. Look at this stone carving, the scientist says. See how the frame is carved? This is a stone cutting technique used in ancient Greece. The traces of stonecutters' work on these stones, according to my calculations, date back to the 16th century. Such craftsmen appeared in the Far East no earlier than the 20th century, and even then they couldn't have carved stones so skillfully. Even when building the bridge across the Amur, stonecutters were brought in from Europe. Efimenko explains that this method of stonework was used during the construction of the Parthenon in Athens in 438 BC. This temple was built by order of Pericles, and the architects were Iktinos and Callicrates. Today, only ruins remain of the temple. But the most astonishing thing is that there isn't a single stone building here, only wooden houses. How these stones got here, I don't yet know, the scientist says. It seems there were craftsmen who knew how to work stone this way. But these stones weren't used for building. There are no traces of mortar on them. It's as if they were specially prepared for construction, but the work was unfinished. Efimenko noticed holes in some of the stones. They looked as if they had been pierced by some powerful weapon. The holes were fused, and they indicate that the stones were exposed to very high temperatures. During the expedition, the scientists managed to find a quarry on the banks of the Ussuri River where such stones were mined. They were broken using notches, small square cuts along the edges. The stones were first split into large pieces and then worked into the desired shape. Bell-like holes, similar to those used in ancient Greece, were also found in the stones. These could have been used for transportation or for water during construction. Archaeologists found similar bells in stone blocks during excavations at Pompeii, an ancient city on the coast of the Gulf of Naples, destroyed by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Near the quarries, Mikhail Efimenko discovered another mysterious object, the entrance to a labyrinth or possibly an underground city. This entrance looks like a large funnel in the ground, gently sloping and hidden from view. Local residents filled it with stones to keep boys from exploring underground, because who knows where these ancient catacombs might lead. They say they're so long that they could stretch all the way to China or Tibet. But how can anyone believe that? Interestingly, the history of the Amur region in the Middle Ages remains a mystery. This period is considered the most obscure in the region's history. It's believed that during this time, the local tribes living along the Amur disappeared, and the powerful states of Bohai and Jurchen, which existed from the 7th to the 12th centuries, were defeated. From all sources, we only know that after this, the peoples of the Far East lost their statehood and returned to a patriarchal system. But what happened to them next? Perhaps a natural disaster? There are no answers to these questions. Although the tornado that swept through the Vyazemsky district in recent weeks couldn't have moved stones from one end of the world to the other, it most likely simply exposed ancient finds that the Earth had hidden for many years. Mikhail Efimenko is confident that archaeologists in the Far East will soon make amazing discoveries that could be far more significant than the pyramids in Egypt or the excavations of Troy. After all, we have at least some understanding of these civilizations, epic images, ancient narratives, and books, but we know almost nothing about the Ares civilization and the underground cities of Tartary. The history of this land is just beginning. Conclusion: these are the amazing discoveries that have been made in the taiga corners of the Amur region. The history that has been preserved underground for so long is beginning to unfold. How many more mysteries does this land hold? These aren't just new archaeological discoveries. They're an entire world we know nothing about. Who were these ancient masters who left such traces? Perhaps these stones and underground passages can truly reveal more about past civilizations. And who knows, perhaps the future will bring us many more unexpected discoveries.